Monsters. Christmas in Monstropolis. A Disney storybook. Read by Books for Kids by Flying Dragons. Mike Wazowski was Monsters, Inc.'s top laugh collector. But one day he had other things on his mind besides work. Mike walked through the busy streets of Monstropolis. "Come on," he called to his best friend Sully. "We can't be late for the Christmas committee meeting. I'm in charge of getting the whole city ready." Mike had big plans. He pictured Monstropolis glowing from top to bottom, and to cap it off, he planned to set up a huge Christmas tree in the center of the city. "We'll have a special tree lighting ceremony on Christmas Eve," he told his team, with a camera crew there to broadcast the event live. Sully nervously looked over Mike's plans. "This is going to take a lot of laugh power, Mikey," he said. "I'm not sure." But Mike was determined. "People will be talking about it for years," he exclaimed. Before long, teams of monsters had spread across the city, hanging lights and putting up decorations. "Maybe we can skip some of these lights," Sully said. "You know, to save energy." "Skip lights?" Mike asked. "No, we need more lights. Spinny, Needleman," he shouted to two nearby monsters. "Double the lights in the city dump." Soon, Christmas Eve arrived. All around Monstropolis, lights shone so brightly that passers-by had to squint and shield their eyes. In the city centre, hundreds of monsters gathered to witness the tree lighting. TV crews set up cameras to capture the event. "See, Sully," Mike said, "the power is just fine, and you were worried." Suddenly, all the Christmas lights went out. It wasn't just the decorations that had turned off. The power had gone out across the whole city. "What's going on, Wazowski?" one monster yelled angrily. "We want answers." "And lights," someone else bellowed. The crowd began to murmur angrily. "Don't worry, folks," Mike shouted above the growing noise. "Just a little hiccup. We'll have this fixed in a jiffy." Sully turned to Mike. "The factory is closed for the holidays," he whispered. "Everyone's on vacation. How exactly are we going to generate enough power?" "We're going to need to get some substitute laugh collectors," Mike said. He scanned the crowd for familiar faces. "Okay, let's see. Who looks funny?" His gaze settled on Smitty and Needleman. It was up to the four of them to turn the city's power back on. At the factory, Sully gazed at the hundreds of doors hanging from the conveyor belt. Without power, Sully would need to pull them into place himself. "We've got our work cut out for us," he said, doing some quick calculations. "We'll probably need 6 cans to power up the city and have enough left over for the tree lighting. And we've got about an hour to pull it off." Smitty and Needleman looked nervous. "Well, what can we do, Mr. Wazowski?" Needleman asked, his voice shaking. We don't know any jokes." "Don't worry," Mike said. "I got a million of them." He quickly scribbled down some jokes and handed them to the monsters. "And remember, it's all in the delivery." Mike ran through door after door. "What's a monster's favourite Christmas carol?" he asked a girl. "Jingle yells." "What do monster elves learn in school?" he yelled. "The alphabet." "Which monster plays holiday tricks?" "Frankenstein." "That's 2 cans," Sully called out as Mike stepped back onto the laugh floor. "That's all?" Mike slumped to the ground. Sully tried to cheer Mike up, but he knew they had a long way to go. They had filled only 4 cans, and Smitty and Needleman were getting nowhere. "What's red and white and green?" Needleman nervously asked one boy. Smitty answered in a flat voice, "Santa swimming through seaweed." The two looked up hopefully. The boy had fallen asleep. "You stink," Smitty said, as he and Needleman went through another door. "I stink," Needleman's voice rose, waking the girl whose room they had entered. Needleman gave Smitty a little push. "You're the one who smells." Smitty tried to push Needleman back, but Needleman stepped away, and Smitty tumbled to the floor. The girl howled with laughter. "You just filled half a can," Sully said, when the two stepped back onto the laugh floor. The new laugh collectors headed through another door. Mike and Sully heard thumps, crashes, and laughter. Curious, they stopped and poked their heads in. "I'm on a roll," Needleman cried. In a flash, Mike tossed a rotten banana to Smitty. "Or maybe you're on a banana peel," Smitty said, gulping down a banana and throwing the peel. Needleman stepped on it and slid across the room. The boy laughed so hard he filled an entire can. "One more to go," Sully said, "and we've only got 5 minutes left." "Good thing I saved the best for last," Mike said, hurrying through the nearest door. "What's red and hairy, has 8 legs, and guides Santa's sleigh?" he asked a group of cousins. Rudolph the red-nosed spider." The room shook with laughter. 6 cans, Sully called. "Let's hope it's enough." They raced through the streets. The lights had come back on in the city. But what about the Christmas tree? Had they collected enough laughs to light that too? By the time they reached the city centre, monsters stood shoulder to shoulder waiting for the lighting. Mike crossed his fingers. He knew all eyes were on him. Taking a deep breath, he flipped the switch, but nothing happened. Mike," Smitty said, holding up the cord to the tree's lights. It wasn't plugged in. Needleman quickly pushed the plug into a nearby socket. The lights flicked on. Everyone gasped in wonder. "You did it, Mike," Sully said. Mike shook his head. "You mean we did it." "Merry Christmas, Monstropolis," the 4 monsters shouted. If you'd like to read more with us, we've got plenty more books we'd love to share with you, and hit subscribe below. Thank you.